This is the Business Maker Show, heard here and seen online at thebusinessmakers.com. It's guest time on the show, and I'm very pleased to have with me Joe Sherman, founder and CEO of Evangelize Communications. Joe, welcome to the Business Maker Show.
Thank you very much for having me here, Russ. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, let's start by you telling us about Evangelize Communications.
Well, EC is my first venture in creating an organization, and I started off with a kind of a gaggle of friends to put together something that we thought would be very innovative in the unified communications industry.
Okay.
And so we started by designing and implementing technology that really sat on top of Microsoft's unified communications platform. And by doing so, we quickly became recognized by delivering very quick software to the Microsoft partner arena, as well as also to every industry, from a unified communications perspective. And so our solutions early on were utility based, and then we saw the success really grow on quickly, and we decided to really invest in the company and really take this to the next level, and through some seed funding as well as finding some really good additional resources to add to EC. We've developed some of the most innovative line of business software that's been released so far in this community.
Okay. Well, tell us what unified communications means.
How long is your show? I'll try and dumb it down.
High level.
Well, let's look at this from a consumer standpoint.
Okay.
If you've got wife and kids or family or friends, you're probably on Facebook, right? So you've got Facebook types of communication or email. Chat if you're online.
You bet.
Posting back and forth on a wall. You've got a home phone, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, you probably don't because everyone's switching over to mobile phones. But
that's true.
You might have a home phone. You definitely have a mobile phone.
Right.
And some people are even getting into SIP-based communications, meaning Skype or Vonage or something like that.
Right. That's for sure.
So what happens if you miss a call at home? What happens if you miss a call on your mobile? What happens if you miss a call on your Skype phone? What happens if you miss a chat in Facebook? Is there any way to unify all those into one place?
Wow.
That's what unified communications is. So if you think about this from an enterprise standpoint, organizations have Microsoft Exchange or Outlook, or they've got an Avaya solution or Cisco solution or any type of existing communications infrastructure that's out there.
Right.
They all have mobile phones, right?
Right,
So
absolutely.
how do we unify all these modalities of communication? Well, that's what unified communications is. It's taking your inbox and allowing your inbox to receive not only email now, but also missed call notifications or missed chat notifications. If you're on the road or you're mobile, if you receive a call coming into your enterprise voice phone number, like your office line, if
Right.
you will, that phone will actually ring your desktop and your mobile device. And if you miss the phone call on your mobile device, it sends the user back to your voicemail and allows that voicemail to be sent to you back via email, along with a preview of that actual voicemail.
Okay.
So you can quickly now navigate through all these different modalities.
Clearly sounds complicated,
It
but
is
that might be when there's lots of opportunity there as well. yeah?
Absolutely.
It was funny when you gave the initial example of my home. The way we handle the home phone is if somebody calls and leaves us a message, we just don't check it. We check it about once a month. I mean, and it has gotten overwhelming.
You want to know what my voicemail greeting is?
What's that?
We don't check our voicemail anymore. Please call our mobiles.
Okay, great. Now, do you already have unified communications products that you're installing?
Yeah, so we basically take the Unified Communications Foundation and apply that towards line of business use.
Okay.
So the only organization that's out there, manufacturer that's out there today that provides that capability for developers like me and my company is Microsoft. Okay. So Microsoft has a UC platform that allows us to actually extract all those different types of modalities, phone, email, instant messaging, video, telepresence, and build applications that you would use in healthcare, higher education, general consumer-based use via the web, those types of solutions, and that's what we build.
Okay.
So we've built several solutions like that so far, one of which was actually acquired by a Fortune 500 company just this year.
Okay, so a product that your company, Evangelize Communications, built since its 2-year inception's already been bought.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
We're very excited.
Now back to the big picture. Now, there have been pieces of this developed by others than Microsoft, right? I mean, I remember having a telephony product that integrated the office phone system with email and the network quite successfully. Right. I've heard about these sort of follow me programs that you have a number, and are those kind of competitive products to unified communications, or are they kind of subsets to it.
Absolutely competitive.
Okay.
It's been more of an evolution than anything. That's the best way to describe
Right.
this. Telephony is not a new technology or
Right.
new industry, right?
Right.
So we're talking about 50 to 100 years plus, old types of organizations. Cisco's been around for a long time. So
Right.
is Avaya. And even Nortel that was recently acquired by Avaya.
Right.
All these organizations provided a company with a PBX, a private branch exchange phone system.
Right.
PBX phones, which you would see in a normal office, space location where you dial 9 and dial the number out.
Right.
And a series of connections to the local PSTN network, AT&T or Sprint, right?
Right.
So now those companies that are traditional telephony companies
Right.
have added what's called an IP layer to those environments.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is you can now access all those types of technology
Right.
via the web or via a configured-based platform, a UC
Right.
platform. And Avaya's done the same with theirs, and Nortel did the same with theirs, Cisco's done the same with theirs.
Right.
The difference between what Microsoft does in these types of organizations is they developed it from a software approach versus taking it from a hardware approach and then slapping a software layer on top of it.
Right. Doesn't there
Never
seem that
done
there
question.
might be an opportunity for a simplification, even just on the hardware side? And
Absolutely.
particularly like your iPad here, or the way mobile phones are just taking over and becoming very smart and sophisticated.
Right.
Isn't there a chance that everybody, regardless if you're just a home user or if you're in a commercial applications in the enterprise, everybody has their own individual device, and that's the way we connect, instead of trying to pull all these disparate systems into one
You nailed
package?
it. You nailed
Oh,
it.
that's
I
wow.
think really that my vision of this in the future, I think, is that we won't have an iPad or an HP device or a certain manufacturer's based
Right.
hardware platform. We're going to have a slate, and you'll get your cut of that slate. Like you'll design your own device that fits your everyday needs, whether
Right.
that's something that fits in your coat pocket or your
Right.
side pocket or something that you can hold like an iPad.
Right.
And it's completely operating system, internet browser, ubiquitous, right?
Okay.
And then from that slate device, you'll be able to connect all these different modalities
Okay.
of communication.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure you'll have a choice of those providers,
Right.
like you do today with
Right.
AT&T and Sprint and others. So I think that's the future. Right now, it is still complex, and it's
Okay.
tied together by applications and gateways.
Well, Joe, this whole unified communications is complex and sounds very specialized. What was it that attracted you in that direction?
Yeah, to answer that very simply, my mentor and actually the gentleman that wrote the foreword for my last book is Gurdeep Singh Paul, and he's
Okay.
a great speaker, great mentor. Gurdeep said, or his vision of this and his passion behind this has been that communications is a primordial event. Right?
Okay.
We started out being able to communicate with each other via voice and video right here
Right.
in person like we're doing
Right.
today.
Right.
We've now moved to these devices where we're hiding behind email and instant messaging.
Right.
And now we're soon moving into video to be
Right.
able to really truly through HD communicate again, despite our location, right? The whole goal between where we are now and then when we leave this office and we're able to communicate via other modalities, there's these devices that are in between.
Right.
So what takes us to that next level to where even though we're maybe in another location, we can still communicate like we are today, side by side. And that's the passion that I have, is to design that technology that takes us there. Instead of having to look at a webcam and just see someone on a small screen, I'm thinking about 3D. Being able to really see you right there in my living room, like you would in Star Wars.
Right.
The next step, and
Right.
be able to communicate and reach out and really and see the facial expressions and the value that you would bring to me on a normal conversation that we'd have face to face. That's my passion.
Okay, and that's been your passion since your mentor introduced you to this whole idea.
That's just been my passion, period.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just enhanced it 100 times.
So you didn't start and go down a different direction like product development or anything. It's just you've always been pretty much focused on communications. And
I just want to be able to help, and I'm the worst person to say this too,
Right,
because I'll
right.
hardly ever respond to a
Right.
phone call or even get on a phone call. I'm
Right.
always right there and my employees and my colleagues will attest to that.
Right.
But as far as a video conference is concerned, I'll always be there.
All right.
Face-to-face meetings, I'll always be there.
All right.
But my passion has been to create technology that allows us to communicate more effectively together.
Okay, now you mentioned your book, and I happen to know there's 2 books already, but I'm just real curious about your career. You this communications thing. Apparently, you came right out of school. Tell us what kind of education do you have?
I went to school for 3 years at the University Center here in Houston, and was going towards a University of Houston information technology or computer science degree.
Right.
And I hate to say this, but at the time, I really wasn't learning anything that applied towards what I was doing at the moment.
So that's why there were just 3 years.
That's why.
You dropped out.
Actually, it was 2 years expanded into 3 years. Yeah,
Okay.
so it was really 2 years.
All
But
right.
I was a Visual Studio programmer, and I wasn't learning anything about Visual Basic or
Right.
those types of technologies.
Right.
I was learning COBOL.
Right.
That's changed now
Right.
with most of these universities, and that's why I had to leave. So I went towards adopting Microsoft certifications and became a Microsoft certified master architect, and then became certified in those specific programming technologies.
Okay.
Then as I went through that and learned these other technologies like the Microsoft Live Communications Server and
Right.
Office Communications Server,
Right.
I wrote books about those technologies to help other people understand how to get into this business and how to program based on those technologies.
And that's the 2 books that
Yes.
you've written
So far.
that have been published and are
Yes.
out there in a bit. What are the names of them?
The first one was Professional Live Communication Server 2005.
All right.
That's a long reader there, but
Right.
the next one is Microsoft Voice and Unified Communications, which is a much lighter read for people that want to understand what Microsoft Unified Communications is all about.
Okay.
And then the one I have coming out is called RU and IT, and that's really to help individuals that want to get into the IT industry really understand what it's all about.
Okay.
And also how to become a Microsoft MVP. There's a specific chapter there as well.
Okay, well, I definitely want to talk about that, but let me sort of connect the dots from dropping out of school to founding Evangelized Communications. What was between those 2 points?
Instead of just being nuts? Or
Right.
No, I became really good at this one specific programming technology at Compaq. I was
Okay.
able to really allow Compaq to be able to generate orders very quickly to some of their high-end customers. That helped me really drive through Compaq, which then became HP.
Right.
And then from HP, I got a nice offer from IBM and
Okay.
became a developer for IBM. And I moved into management based on an offer from IBM to Accenture, and then worked for Accenture and got a lot of experience being a manager of a consulting organization there. And that's where I started meeting my Microsoft colleagues, because I was managing the Microsoft Solutions organization there.
Okay.
And after my stint at Accenture, I became an independent consultant for Microsoft and did that for almost 7 years. And spent my last 2 years consulting for Microsoft Research, which was probably the best experience I've ever had in my career.
Did you do that in Redmond or just home-based? In
Well,
Redmond?
both. So I would work from home, but also travel back and forth to Redmond.
Okay. Well, I know that Microsoft is probably key to your career,
I love Seattle.
past and the future. But before I leave Evangelized Communications, are there specific products that you're developing right this minute with Evangelized
Oh, yeah.
Communications?
There's some really cool
Can
stuff.
you give us a
Yeah.
preview of a couple of them?
So I talked about my passion for being able to help organizations communicate more effectively,
Right.
But my focus right now is helping specific industries do
Okay.
that, namely higher education
Okay.
and healthcare.
Okay.
So we have a product coming out that's called UC University that allows individuals like you and I to take a class from any university anywhere in the world, and being able to do so via live HD video. So you can actually see the professor, be able to participate with other colleagues or students inside that classroom environment, and take the class from the comfort of your home.
Wow.
We're going to launch it at the Microsoft Worldwide Partner Conference in July.
And do you have any hot prospects yet, or is it
Absolutely.
too early for that? All right.
Yeah, we're actually working with several universities.
Okay, and the healthcare product.
That's the most passionate product that I've been focused on right now. It's called Smart Care. It's in development. We don't have a production release yet, the date yet for it.
Right.
We're hoping to get it out this year.
Okay.
There's a lot of politics involved, obviously, in the
Sure.
healthcare industry. So that just
Absolutely.
outside of getting the product ready, we have to get it out there. So basically, the need for this product came from witnessing my grandfather, who's a quadriplegic, not receive the type of care that he should be receiving based on the ability to communicate between physicians today. He's a quadriplegic, so he receives these colonized diseases that are just
Right.
due to the blood flow pressure
Sure.
that he has. And so he literally had to fly from Canada to Dallas to see a doctor. I just did not understand that at all. So we're developing solutions that run on an HP Slate device or an iPad that allow a home care or critical care type patient or immobile patient to be able to interface via HD conferencing with their medical record,
Wow.
with a physician, and allow that physician to interact with other physicians
That's
on
cool.
that same record.
That's real cool.
That's changing, life-changing technology.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping any hospital that's out there can understand this and understand the passion behind getting
That's
it out
cool.
there.
Sounds like you're changing an industry there too. for
Or
sure.
hopefully.
All right, cool. Well, Joe, you've already mentioned how important your Microsoft background and certification has been in your career so far. but it's also pretty cool to note that you are a 6-time Microsoft Most Valuable Professional winner. Tell us about the MVP program first at Microsoft.
Well, I found out about the program when I was responding to blog posts. Individuals that were using Professional Live Communication Server at the time were trying to receive support.
Okay.
And so not only Microsoft could respond, but people that knew about the product could help other individuals with their problems, their technical issues. So I started really heavily responding on those blog posts and threads on support forums. And because of that, I was recognized as an MVP or expert in that technology.
Meaning Microsoft saw the exchanges and
Yes.
said, wow, this guy Joe knows what he's talking about?
And they award people like that for all their help with the community.
Wow.
And so it's not just an award, but they give you access to specific software for free. They give you a Microsoft, it's an MSDN or developer license subscription to all Microsoft Office and applications for free, which is awesome. It's like a, $30,000 investment in the MVP. And they invite you up to Redmond once a year for a huge MVP event.
Wow.
It's a week long, and you get to see all the Microsoft products that come out before they're released 6 months in advance.
And the only people that are invited are other
Just
MVPs?
worldwide.
How many are there each year?
I haven't checked, what the latest number is. I know that it's in the hundreds of thousands, and usually there's millions of applicants every year.
Wow.
So it's a very select program.
Okay.
But it's a good group of people, though. We're all about helping each other out. That's what the MVP program's
That's cool.
about.
And you actually see unannounced Microsoft products?
Actually, at the event, yes, but also if you're an MVP in a specific product, like my product is specific to Communication Server 2010. So this product, I have ongoing regular contact with the product team to help them design the future of that technology. It's not like they'll take my ideas and just incorporate all of them, but they'll take it under consideration in the forum, which is nice.
So I imagine you see some pretty cool stuff there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Between Microsoft Research and being an MVP, there's all kinds of very cool things coming from Microsoft.
Tell us what the coolest one is that has not been announced yet.
I can't do that. I can just say, watch out for Windows Mobile.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But it seems kind of interesting, though, the state of Microsoft right now, because all that anybody talks about is Apple and iPad and mobile and
That's
iPhone and Google. It almost seems like Microsoft's in third or fourth place right now.
There's two problems. One is Microsoft watches. They heavily invest in R&D, heavily. I used to work for the organization for 2 years, so I've seen it. The other thing is that they watch the market, they see how consumers respond, they develop something in behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden they test the waters and they come out with a groundbreaking product.
Right.
The problem, though, is that between Microsoft's marketing and the rest of these organizations or providers' marketing, it seems substandard. Steve Jobs does a great job of coming out with new products. Everyone's waiting on every word that he says when the iPhone or the iPad comes out. I've already ordered both. I've got an iPad and iPhone 4 on the way. So, and for IT people like you and I, or anyone that's technically involved there, who's a device freak, they're always waiting for that, right? Microsoft hasn't been like that, but I can tell you, just to wait. They've hired the right people. They've got new marketing teams in place. I read an article where they hired the guy that did the Nissan commercials, where the guy's driving down the road and all the animals are freaking out and they're trying to help out. But they've got those good key people now, and you'll start seeing a combination of technology and marketing together.
I'm curious, when you won these 6 MVP awards, how do they notify you?
Well, I've been renewed every year based on involvement. So. The first time I received the award was an email and a letter, and they give me a certificate, and I've got 6 of those certificates now on the wall. But the renewal, it's not easy. You really have to apply assistance back to the community. That's why I wrote the books. I didn't write that to make money. The money's nice, but I'm helping the community understand these products. That's the focus. And outside of the books that are for sale, I write white papers, I do blog posts, I've got a Network World blog that's out there that I update, and I try to start topics. Like my latest one is 3D for unified communications. I wanted to see feedback based on that. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to do to be involved in the community and help the community understand this technology and make it better. Okay.
Joe, before I let you go, let's imagine that we have some young, aspiring innovator listening to you right now and just think, wow, what a cool path, what a cool life. What advice would you give him or her?
I'm an IT guy. So when I stepped into this and said that I'd be the CEO, and right now I consider myself a temporary CEO because one thing the bit of advice I can give to answer your question is you get ready to learn something about everything.
Okay.
Because I've had to learn everything about taxes and accounting to legal work and reseller contracts. I mean, you name it. It's just a whirlwind of different items to manage a holistic business. And then the people management side of it along with that is something that I wasn't used to. Usual technology savvy type individual is not very good at communicating with other human beings. So that's one thing I've had to learn, is to be able to just be calm and to understand everyone's needs and values and what they bring to the table, and try and collectively bring everyone together to build passion.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
That's Joe Sherman, the founder and CEO of Evangelize Communications. And you're listening to The Business Maker Show, heard here and seen online at thebusinessmakers.com.